Board meeting to order. At this time, we do have a full board in this, as we see. And the first thing on the agenda is the public comments. Public comments, one please, for the public. Here.
For the Polk TDP.
Oh yeah, for Polk TDP, I'm sorry. Anyone? What was that now? I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, this is the public comment section of the Polk Transit Development Plan, which the Polk TPO currently administers for us.
Yes.
And a separate public comment session is required by statute for the Polk TDP. You can see at agenda item number 3, we still have our standard Citrus Connection public comment for any other agenda items on the board.
Yes.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members
Good morning.
of the board and the public. I'm Julia Davis, Senior Planner of the Polk Transportation Planning Organization. And for real clarification in the minutes this morning, this is a newly advertised public hearing on the draft transportation development plan annual report for 2019. So I'm opening a public comment period, a 30-day public comment period. When you return at your next board meeting with the final document, this is an opportunity for public comment on the document. This document refers back to major TDP, which was completed in 2017. So this document compares the progress and successes and difficulties that the transit system has been having this year compared to 2 years ago, and then adjust the financial projections and the ridership projections made 2 years ago based on present reality. So that's the whole point of this document. It's available, it is not available online at the Polk TPO, but I can get you a paper copy or an accessible copy for your request. Just give me a call. Anyone have any questions or comments?
Any questions or comments? All right, seeing none.
Thank you. We'll be back next month with your final document.
Thank you.
I want to thank your staff and everybody who helped pull together this document.
Thank you. We receive approval of the June 20th Lab board meeting minutes at this time, please.
Second.
Probably motion second. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? At this time, we do open the floor for public comments. If anyone that's from the public like to speak at this time, anyone like to speak at this time? Yes, sir.
My name is Michael Mealy, citizen of Lakeland, Florida. These are my comments for today. There were hopes that Reroute 2020 would add at least minimal Saturday service. 2 full system runs in the morning, and 2 full system runs in the afternoon. That's point number 1. Also wanted to make sure that there were some changes that Tom and I discussed in the Route 1, where it currently goes up to Lakeland Square Mall, back to the park and ride, and goes back up north to Lakeland Front Center, that we kind of eliminate doubling back and just make it one continuous loop. You know, it's going to involve some timing changes, and with the whole Reroute 2020, it could be easily incorporated. On the Reroute 2020 site, the yellow lines do not print very well on a LaserJet black and white print. So I'm making a recommendation that you hashtag the yellow line with some black lines, so that when it does print, at least you'll get some idea of where the routes are actually flowing. I'd like later in the meeting, as it's scheduled, update on the 4G modem upgrade. Any other ongoing project updates that have been discussed in previous board meetings, how-to videos, and I'm sure there's going to be a whole slew of new ones with the new Avail program deliverables that Avail will be presented later. Are there any future buses coming online? Route 1 is utilizing buses that were supposed to be sunsetted, or as I thought they were, I thought it was informed on 1/1/2019. They have the old style chairlifts. The ACs are not really working up to full capacity, especially these hot summers we've been getting. Other point would be the routing of the Route 1 was very tight, especially during the winter months. Now that school is let out, the schools have gone back up north, the Route 20 is still running a very tight schedule. So I was gonna make the suggestion that maybe half the year, the Route 1, maybe we would run every 20 minutes. I think that would be adding an extra 2 buses. And it would still make sure to move the timing for the connections. So let's say like 15, and then 35 after, and 55 after. For scheduled arrivals, departures at the local downtown terminal. And just something I was gonna throw out to see if this had any feedback on was consideration of eliminating the one-way fare and simply going with all-day 24-hour passes. This was prior to me meeting with Rick this morning. Utilizing the smart card is a way where it could actually be to the advantage of the rider to use the smart card. As I'm sure Rick will explain later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mealy. Thank you for your comments. And board members want to share or, yes, sir?
Someone else from the audience wants to speak about the same subject.
No, you want
Oh.
to speak, it's public comment number 2.
Okay, on this comment.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what's going on now?
I thought he wanted John let me speak on Mr. Mealy's comment, if I was mistaken.
No, he's a separate public comment.
Oh, it's separate.
Yeah, his hand went up so fast.
Any board will share. That's okay.
Besides hay fever, my ears are plugged up and I hear half of what I'm saying.
No comments for the board of
Yes, I do.
comments from,
Yes.
I do.
okay, yes, sir.
Have you had a chance to review the request?
I just received, and I thank you, Mr. Mealy. Mr. Mealy printed this out and just gave it to me, so I have the complete list.
It's also been emailed to you, Tom, so you can forward it.
Thank you. Oh, yes, 6:46 a.m. this morning. Thank you, Mr. Mealy.
You notice on the top it says,
Yes, yes.
James, Tom, please forward to the rest of the board, or anyone else you feel may find a hard
Excellent.
copy of what-
Yeah, so this came in at 6:46 this
Thank you.
morning. I
Thank
was on my way to pick Mr. Mealy up to bring him here, so. So, yeah, I have this. We will review this list. Some of these items we have discussed, others of these are new. And Mr. Mealy and I, as the board is aware, have a monthly breakfast. He had asked that that be next week or the following week. So, and typically I'll bring subject matter experts from the district, so we'll address these issues. I believe Mr. Sims was nodding. I believe the recognition of the yellow line having a black border may have already been addressed, or is something that we're looking at.
Any other comments? Okay, we have someone else from the public to speak. Mr. John, well, come on
You want me to
down.
go over there?
Yes, please. That's the point of contact.
Great. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, Mr. Burton?
Great. Good morning, everyone. My name is John Burton. I'm Executive Director of the Achievement Academy. We have campuses in Lakeland, Winter Haven, and Bartow. We are a pre-kindergarten charter school, public charter school for children with special needs. This last January, we received notification from the Polk County School Board that the bus transportation that we have enjoyed for the last number of years will be discontinued for all public charter schools in Polk County effective this year. And 2 charter schools, including Achievement Academy, were extended 1 year for us to try and create some form of bus transportation for our students in all 3 of our campus locations. We did a lot of research and found that financially it was unfeasible for our organization, which is a not-for-profit organization, to take on that major risk financially. And I am here to thank, I think we're for an agenda item today. And regardless of the outcome of that decision, I just want to make you aware of how much support we have received from Tom Phillips and his staff at the Citrus Connection. We were in pretty dire straits without a lot of options. And I want to publicly thank Tom, his staff, and the organization for reaching out to us and at least offering us some options. We have a long way to go, but it's rare that you have a public organization that is so transparent and willing to help the customer it serves. We'd like to think that we do that for our children and families, but it's a great example that that's it. So I'll keep my remarks brief, but I want to say thank you to Tom and the staff for all they're doing on behalf of us and the other public charter schools that serve special needs students in Full County. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burton, for those comments, and we appreciate those comments, because it's good to hear that we're doing at least what we think will be best to support transportation for all those that need or in need of the services that we provide here in our area. So thank you, staff, Tom and your staff, for reaching out as early as you did. Well, we knew it was coming because we as a board knew we got the announcement as well from Polk County Public Schools about their situation regarding transportation services. So thank you again for those comments. Anyone else from the public?
Mr. Chairman, we'll be bringing forward a grant application for Achievement Academy and Victory Ridge in a pilot program next month. But again, under executive director comments, I was going to give an update on how we're working with them. But again, we thank Achievement Academy and Victory Ridge and the Polk County School Board for delaying the decision to cut the bus transportation specifically for these two schools, recognizing that they were the two public charter schools that are transporting 100% of their student body having individuals with disabilities.
Yes.
And so that's highly specialized transportation. That's not just going out and either buying Citrus Connection passes in bulk or contracting with the Big Yellow School Bus. So I'd like to thank Aaron Dunn, Marcia Roberson, Rodney Wetzel, the team. They'll be bringing forward a program to show the school board that partnering with public transportation in getting paratransit vehicles like ours and transporting students and using our insurance and the types of programs that we've worked on with Commissioner Lindsay can really be a great pilot. It is not going to be something where we can help Victory Ridge and Achievement Academy 100%. But we believe if we can show the community and the school board that a bite, chew, swallow approach over time can do this incremental approach, hopefully the school board can continue to provide that transportation until we can work with them to get them over the years, maybe decade, to the point where they're completely self-sufficient. Because we've learned a lot about the mission of Achievement Academy, specifically how young these children are, and just how much care has to go into doing this and how intentional it has to be.
All right, thank you for those comments. Any more comments on our board? Sure, thank you. Okay, next thing, item on the agenda is the Gym Award at this time. Someone receiving an award.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, colleagues, and guests. Our Gym Award is an award that we give to employees who distinguish themselves for what's called going the extra mile. It gives me great pleasure to recognize at this time Pedro Gonzalez. Pedro, please come on up.
All right.
Last month, we actually had the YouTube video that really said it all. Pedro did. And Pedro's one of our drivers. He's been on 3 years here with Citrus Connection. He was on his route. He was driving his vehicle and noticed that there was a very young child out unattended and at risk as they were getting closer to the road. He actually stopped and pulled over and actually notified law enforcement, did the right things. But as a result, the child was actually unattended and potentially at risk. He really did the right thing. And for that, we want to recognize him for going that extra mile. So, Pedro, we want to give you this plaque. And I'd ask that Mr. Walker, if you could.
I'm honored to come up with you.
Get a picture with the chairman. We have a great YouTube video on this as well.
Yes.
That you might want to take a look at.
You gotta look a little happy.
Great job, Pedro.
It's always good to see though that, provide exemplary actions when it's time and needed to have them in place. And thank you again, Pedro, for that.
Mr. Chairman, after the
Yes.
board meeting, we'll have light refreshments under the pagoda area here for Pedro. Because not only has he been on every major television and news
Yeah.
station in the Central Florida region, he was featured in Mass Transit Magazine. He's received national attention from the transit circuit. But we were also contacted by a rider who is a singer.
Oh.
And he asked if he could play music for Pedro as a token of his appreciation. I know we're a little more
Nice.
casual here and we meet in a modular, but we said maybe after the board meeting. So there may be a musical interlude for Pedro from one of our customers. So just to let you know about that.
That's very cool. That's very
Moving on, we have finance, of course, situations that we take care of. Mr. Massar, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, fine, thank you.
Good. It's your show now.
As we do regularly, we have our May financial statements for review with the board. This is through May 2019, and for LAMTED, the year-to-date budget is 7.3 million. Our revenues reflect 103% of the budgeted revenues, and the expenses are 83% of the budgeted expenses. So revenues are favorable and expenses are favorable.
Yes.
Our fare box revenues reflect 93% of the budgeted amount. Ad valorem is 99% or 4.6 million. FDOT are favorable revenues, and the FT is lagging because of late approval for drawdown. So overall, looking at our major revenues, we are favorable. In looking at the expenses, we looked at the four major expense elements. Salaries and fringe benefits, which makes up 64% of the budget.
Mhm.
We're 11% under budget, so that's favorable. Fuel expenses is just in line with the budget, and materials and supplies for parts is also under budget. So overall, we are within the budget.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
How are we 11% under budget in salaries and benefits?
Open positions.
Not that many open positions?
Yes, sir.
Plus, when new employees comes on board, insurance doesn't kick in. So you have some lagging savings in insurance expense for the benefits.
I am happy to say that Mr. Cheney's new methodology and new meeting over the last year and a half is starting to bear fruit. So we have been able to attract new young talent in our maintenance department.
That's
So
good.
that continued deficit does not continue to exist at the level that it has. So hiring a person and teaching a skill continues to work out for us. So
Good.
I would say the average age in the shop, without asking Steve to be done, 25. So,
That's great.
uh,
Great.
so
Wow.
the 24-year-old mechanic of the year for the state of Florida that we had in 2013 is now the old man of the shop. So I forget, Billy's got some gray, but
Okay, moving right along to Polk County Transit.
The next financial statement is for the county agreement.
Mhm.
The year-to-date budget is 4.5 million through the end of May. The revenues are 99%. The contract revenues for the grants match is pretty much in line with the contractual agreement. Fares are 91%. Both FDOT and FTA grants are pretty much in line with the budget. And capital expenses funded by the county are pretty much in line with the agreement. Looking at the expenses, labor is 92% of the budget year-to-date. Operating expenses 94% and capital is 55%. The only expense that's over is a links contract, and that's overage is funded by grants. So overall, they're within the budget, 95% total expenses. Any questions?
Questions? Okay, next one is TD Financial, of course.
The next financial statement is for Fund 6, the Transportation Disadvantage. As we all know, this is an agreement between the district and the state, and it's funded by 90% from the state and 10% from the county. Overall, the year-to-date, the total budget is 1.3 million. And this fund is in a state fiscal year, which ends June the 30th, and it starts July 1, so we are almost at the end of the fiscal year. The revenues are 84% and the expenses are 86% and in line with the budget. Any questions?
All right, seeing none, thank you, Mr. Saab. Moving right along. 5D.
The next agenda item is to request board approval for fuel purchase. We do purchase fuel on the open market using the OPIS fuel index. The recommendation is to award the diesel fuel to Mansfield and the unleaded to Palmdale Oil Company. We have some statistical information in there. In buying on the futures market, we are able to avoid the price volatility and fluctuation, stay within the budget.
This is the consortium that we are in with Hart, Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pinellas counties. And the school board purchases off of this as well, as does the Polk County Board of County Commissioners. You can see we're paying 0.0007% above the rack rate. So it's a rate that we would not be able to get if we were not part of this consortium.
You need a motion?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Second.
Probably motion second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir. Mr. Saab, moving along.
The next agenda item is to request the board approval or pre-approval in light of the reroute 2020. We got a stringent deadline to acquire all the necessary printing and signs. We have developed ICE, Independent Cost Estimate. This is a very common concept by the FTA, the Federal Transit Administration, for capital projects where you have to estimate what a project cost will be so you stay within the budget. We will come back to the board with the final award, and we are estimating the cost for all the new signs at $55,000 coming from the CIP budget.
As I for approval as well.
So moved.
Second.
Probably motion second. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir.
The next item is to request board concurrence on some transfer of radios from the county. We're looking at 27 radios with total cost of $80,000. The depreciated cost is $62,000 with a net book value of $18,600. This is a requirement by the FTA to facilitate the transfer. They are all grant funded.
Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner McCarroll, just to clarify this agenda item, and Leanne's here today. So very exciting. When we merged with the county, we had to transfer federal assets. The largest of those assets were obviously the buses and the Winter Haven facility, but there were also ancillary items as well. And we've gotten the majority of those transferred over the years. The radios have been the things that just kind of come out of the woodwork every once in a while that we find. Commissioner Hall and Lindsay, I'm sure you're sick of talking about radios at this point, but they're well needed by the district. They've been cared for well by the county that we put to good use here, but this is just that transfer of assets that the FTA requires.
Okay, that's $18,600.40. Right?
That's the value of the radios that's left on the grant. Yes, sir.
To the staff recommendation.
Second. Probably motion second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, sir, you got it. Last one.
The last item is to request board approval of the 2019 millage. We are again proposing the 0.5 millage, the statutory limit that we have for the district. This has to be submitted to the property appraiser by August 2nd, and we're asking board concurrence. Just a little statistics on the digest, the taxable value for this year. The taxable value for 2019 is 10.1 billion compared to 9.7 for last year. We had a 4% growth. Our taxable revenues for this coming year estimate is 4.9 million. The current year is 4.7 million. We're looking at $185,000 in taxable revenues. That's a significant decline from the current year. The current year revenues is 287,000, and the proposed for the next year is 186,000. So we've seen a decline on taxable revenues of 101,000. So we have seen some slowdown in the real estate market.
Okay,
I'll be glad to answer any questions.
So moved.
Second.
Question,
what's the second? Quick.
Just to clarify that this also approves the dates and times of the budget hearings. It's in the agenda item, but not in the summary. So just to clarify that you all are also setting the date for the first public budget hearing.
Right.
It's in the report on the public hearing.
Yeah, the public hearing is.
The first public hearing is scheduled for September the 4th, the second for September the 18th at the Lakeland City Hall. So
Right, I say that just because that
Okay.
wasn't on the summary.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's showing here in the narrative.
Right.
Any other points? Any other questions? We got a motion on the floor, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Broussard. Now move on to legal.
Yes, sir. Good morning. The only thing I have today are proposed amendments and change in costs for certain municipalities as far as our fair share agreements go. So the cost is the only thing that's going to change. I have not drafted the amendments yet. Without your approval to change that figure, I was not comfortable in doing so. So the change in cost for Lake Wales is now the city cost will be $25,130.25. Dundee will be $9,578.25. Lake Hamilton, $11,036.25, and Haines City will be $13,527. So just in order to, it's not there.
That's you're right.
Right. So in order to speed up the process to allow for the billing to continue, with those proposed numbers, I would suggest or request approval of those changes.
These are all increases in the municipal contributions required under the agreement that we have with the county. So the county funded 2 new routes.
Right.
They funded the Laufman route, which is in a rural area, so there's no impact to the municipalities. And then they funded the requested 27 Express, and I say requested because not only is it needed for the communities of the Ridge on 27, but it's been a request of that loose consortium of the 27 Mayor Ridge group. And so when we presented that at the county retreat, a requirement was that the municipalities had to participate and increase their fair share agreements. So Ms. Killebrew went out to the municipalities. Haines City has already approved to pay their increased fair share, as has Dundee. And Lake Hamilton, Mr. Wetzel met with Lake Hamilton staff, and the approval should be there as well. So they have all agreed or will be agreeing to increasing their fair share for the 27 Express. That will be reflected then in Fund 5 next year. So what they've been paying in fair share, they're going to continue to pay for fair share for new services as well, which, again, I have to say, looking at this historically, because we have such a big crowd today, to recognize that in 2014, we had some municipalities that were paying nothing and some that were paying as high as 13%. We've now gotten the level. And one of the biggest changes in there, if you really look at it, the dollar amount's small, but it was Dundee. And their continued commitment to transit to go from 0 to now a little over $9,000. They went from 0 bus routes to 2. So I think, again, that shows that it was easy to tell them we had to pay for what you already had. Now they're starting to pay for what they want.
Yeah.
But again, to give the county commission the recognition that they are still the largest contributor of municipal transit in 8 communities outside of these fair share agreements. So we're going to get to that 20%, and then what the county commission wants to do from there, we'll follow their lead on where do we go once everybody's at 20%.
Why is it, sorry, Mr. Chair?
Hand already first, I'm sorry, unless you want to say ladies first.
Please.
I just have a question.
You
Why,
may ask what I wanted to ask you.
why is Lake Hamilton more than Dundee? Like, why is it, why are they at 11,000?
Everything is based on revenue miles.
Okay,
So,
because they're further from places?
right, so it's the, so
Total miles.
Okay.
Lake Hamilton's 8,175 compared to Dundee, which is
Okay.
7,000.
Thank you.
Commissioner McCarley, that is something that I think you will hear about
Mhm.
your entirety on this board.
Mhm.
So there were, because we get that at all of our municipalities, how did you determine what is fair share?
Right.
Yeah.
To do it by passenger boardings
Okay,
doesn't
thank you.
really make sense.
Every mile.
To do it by passenger miles doesn't make sense because that rewards population density. The fact that there's a hub in Winter Haven really probably has the largest argument that revenue miles
Mhm.
is not equitable. Mike Herr understands that being a leader on the east side of the community from a transit perspective is important, and there's a hub.
Mhm.
So revenue miles is really the best way
Yeah.
to have it work. It also allows us very, very minimal flexibility if a community needs to cut transit. And there are stops that we can cut that reduce their revenue miles because we don't have to enter a certain way or leave a certain way, then we're able to do that. But I have to tell you, again, being completely transparent, the only place that we tried that significantly was Frostproof, and it still ended with the termination of service. We have used it successfully in Northeast Winter Haven with Route 60, where we cut the Saturday service on the Route 60 to reduce their costs by, I think, right around $30,000, if I remember correctly, Aaron. So it's a double-edged sword. It's worked once, but it hasn't others. There are places like Eagle Lake, obviously, that we still have to drive through. The county is technically bearing the cost of those revenue miles, but we had to delete the stops to get through.
Is there any-
Ms. Hall, did your question get answered? Okay.
Lake Wells was mentioned also, but
Yeah, it was.
we didn't have any update on Lake Wells. Have they agreed? Have they not agreed?
They have agreed. I apologize.
Okay, so
The only who has not agreed, the only city that has not agreed, because we have not put it on their agenda yet, is Lake Hamilton.
It's on the agenda for August 6th. For Lake Hamilton.
and you mentioned that the Lake Wells, like you said, was not mentioned. Okay. Commissioner,
Any progress or dialogue going on with Mulberry?
No, no progress or no dialogue with Mulberry. Mulberry, I believe, is comfortable with the position that they're in. There has been no discussion with Frostproof. However, there has been discussion with the sheriff's office, who is evidently changing the way that they book inmates now that public transit goes to the South County Jail. So Ms. Killebrew met with representatives at the sheriff's office, and very soon, those inmates will be processed at the South County Jail and be given a bus pass to be able to get out instead of having a deputy and a squad car or whatever they use have to not protect and serve and transport somebody back to central booking to be able to do that. So that's great. Because right now, the primary use of that service are people who are visiting their families, which is important. We don't have enough frequent service for people who work there, but this now will be great for the sheriff to be able to reutilize his resources and utilize us to transport people who serve their time and get where they need to go.
now what about the conversation with Mayor West? That's been okay now?
Yes, yeah,
The Plain City.
The Haines City Group is extremely appreciative of what the commission did for the 27 Express. There had been some rumblings that they felt that there was no representation on the Citrus Connection board for the mayors of the Ridge. But we are streaming this, and they all have the links to that. They may be watching right now. If so, hello. But also we reminded them that you all are wearing the hats of public transit as the transit district, and that specifically Commissioners Hall and Lindsay are here to represent all of Polk County, so they were comfortable with that.
Okay. Any other comments? If this is something for approval, do we have a motion? Or do you think we need to do that report?
Yes,
So you gave us those numbers.
Yes, sir, you do.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Probably motion is second. Any additional questions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. All righty. Mr. Phillips, we have a presentation from Avail.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, it's July. And July is the date for Avail
Yes,
to go from concept to live.
yes,
And so
2019.
today, 2019.
yeah.
So I'm happy today to introduce Rick Spangler, the Chief Technology Officer from Avail Technologies, and Greg Kilbride, the FAST Professional Services Engineer. And they are here to give the board a brief update and demonstration of items that are currently live, but may not be forward-facing, that meet the deliverables that they had promised us a few years ago.
All righty, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, members of the board and community. My name is Rick Spangler. I am the Chief Technology Officer of Avail Technologies, so thank you for having me today. Short presentation, and like Tom said, we have a little bit of show and tell for those that are interested. Just a little background. Like Tom said, this is kind of the fruition of a lot of hard work between Avail Technologies and our partnership with Citrus Connection. Just a little bit of background. Again, we are a vendor that does provide technologies to Citrus Connection as part of a contract with them. But we also do like to view ourselves as a partner. Citrus's goals are our goals, and so we are pleased to be providing things that help them provide great service to the community and achieve their vision and mission. And just some examples on the smart card technology that we rolled out a few years ago. We have some things to show that I like to point out there, but this box on the left here is kind of the old technology that Citrus used to use. And these things are notorious for being one of the #1 reasons that a bus doesn't stay in service on the road, because they're very a mechanical item that breaks down a great deal because it's very old technology. So that was one of the things we were able to achieve with the smart card project, was to eliminate this costly technology and replace it with state-of-the-art smart card technology. So that was a great success between Avail and Citrus Connection. The CC Bus Info, where we rolled out real-time passenger information and trip planning on your phone, so people in the community can see where the bus is at any time, know exactly when the bus is coming, and plan their trips. Again, a great success story for Citrus Connection. And we're also pleased we understand the importance of the Reroute 2020 initiative. And again, a great deal of data is collected by our system with ridership, where people get on and off the bus, and where service is best provided. A lot of that data from our system was utilized to help support the Reroute 2020 initiative. So again, just a little bit of a discussion, some good success stories. So today we're going to talk about new technologies that continue to advance where we are with Citrus Connection. So the technology demonstrations and discussions today are going to be about passenger Wi-Fi on the bus. So we're going to be able to offer free Wi-Fi to passengers riding Citrus Connection buses. Very exciting. We have some updates to the fare system to provide some enhanced functionality. Mr. Mealy was a great advocate for some of these things here. So we're going to talk about our exciting e-purse concept and also some things that benefit your paratransit community. Best texting subscription alerts. And then also then the exciting thing, a mobile payment app finally on your phone where we can do remote reloading and things like that. So all very exciting. Tom, I'm just going to hit a slide on each one and then we can open it up to the show and tell. Okay? So very quickly on each one of these. So we're going to actually be able to get on a bus. This is live right now. But if we get on a bus, we have now put equipment on the bus that when someone rides the vehicle on their phone, when they bring it up, they will now see on the bus a Citrus Wi-Fi connection show up on their phone. When they connect to that, other than expecting a small terms and conditions, they say, okay, they are now live and they will get internet via the bus. This is great for people when they don't want to utilize their data plans. Some of them don't have data plans and can only rely on Wi-Fi access. You'll be able to provide that to them while they're on the bus. They can check email, they can download a video, they can do those things, they can browse the internet while they're on the comfort of the air-conditioned bus. So very exciting. We can get on a bus and show that to you.
So if you would like, board members, because today, again, and just for the public that's here, many of these deliverables are very late. And so today, one of the things that we worked on with Rick and the team was everything had to be live today.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing here today that we're presenting to the board is conceptual. We held Avail to that responsibility. If you would like, you can't obviously talk about anything you're going to vote on, and this isn't a voting item. there is a bus at the top of the hill. If you would like to go up to it and take a 2-minute break, and you can log on your phones and actually surf the web. Sorry, over here. If you'd like to surf the web. Because again, trust but verify. If the board would like to do that, we could take it, no, you don't want them to, you want a bus? Afterwards, if you'd like to go out and log on, you can log on. But the Wi-Fi is active on that bus.
Well, like you said, I think it's very important for us to understand because of the lateness that we're live as we speak.
Yes, sir. That's what we wanted to really
Yes.
drive home today.
Right, that's right. Mr. Mayor?
As a question on this particular application on the bus, so if I have elected Wi-Fi once and gone through the approval of that, is that same, if I accept links on my phone, is that same link then true for any other of the Citrus buses, or do I need to uniquely log into the Citrus Wi-Fi per bus?
So it is the same on every single bus. So every single bus, when you go to that bus, it will still be the same SSID that shows up on your phone. So it'll always be called Citrus Wi-Fi. Now, when you do get off a bus, you're going to disconnect or
Sure.
go to a new bus, but you will see the same one pop up. So you'll be very familiar as a rider. It won't be different.
And if I trust known
Yes.
links, it'll automatically log me on
Yes.
right when I walk on the bus.
Okay, any other comments or questions?
All right, then we'll go to the next item. Fare system update. So this is a very exciting one. So one of the things, and Mr. Mealy touched on this morning, so one of the concepts here is we want to make sure that riders have the best value experience when riding a Citrus Connection bus, right? This is very important that we make this very cost-effective solution for them. Right now, there's multiple ways that I can purchase fares to get on the vehicle. I can decide to pay individually for my fares, or if I ride frequently, I might decide to get a day pass, a month pass, a week pass, something like that. But even in the concept of a day pass, the minute I spend, in Mr. Mealy's example, if I spend that $1.50, that's the difference. If I pay for one ride, that's 75 cents. If I want to ride all day, I can pay $1.50. But I kind of have to know when I purchase that instrument that I'm going to use it. There's always the risk that things change in my day. Maybe I can get a ride from a family member. I don't need to use that pass. So it's really exciting about ePurses. The concept is I put the cash value on my card. So for example, I want to maybe I have $10. I can put $10 on that card, and it just sits on the card waiting to be used. And what's really nice about it is it takes that pressure off of choosing which fare instrument I need to buy. So now when Mr. Neely gets on the bus, he can just tap that card, but he has the ePurse on it. It will say, you know what, you rode the bus once, I'm going to take 75 cents off your card. He doesn't ride again. That's all that came off the card. Let's say he gets on for his return trip. He rides the bus again. Again, it's going to say, you know what, I'm going to take 75 cents off your card again. But right there, what our system does is, let's say he does decide to ride again. The system keeps track of what he's done. It recognizes that, you know what, oh, a day pass is $1.50. You've already ridden twice today, and you spent $1.50. It's going to give him a message when he taps his card. We've just automatically upgraded you, rider, to a free day pass. Enjoy riding the rest of the day. This is a great benefit to them. It allows them to maximize the dollars that they spend in Citrus Connection and get the best value experience. That's a very exciting feature for Citrus Connection to be able to offer riders.
Again, this is live. That's called a bus in a box. And if you'd like, again, Greg's here. He's got a card. It's got value on it. It's loaded at our customer service. You can tap. It'll take 75 cents. You can wait 3 minutes, tap again. Wait 3 minutes, tap again, and it will turn into a day pass. So again, he can do that. He can do that right now if you'd like to know. But again, this is live.
Wonderful benefit. Would there be any net revenue changes we'd expect as a result of this system that are lessened? And if so, how much in aggregate might that be?
Sure. So right now, what Mr. Mealy is doing is he's buying day passes. And he's got 2 day passes on one card, and then he's got another card with others. Most customers are buying a day pass every single day. It's our most popular pastime. So only if they used ePurse and we had a $1.50 one-way rider would we see a loss in revenue. most of our riders, because 87% of our riders are transit dependent, Mr. Mayor, are purchasing either weekly, monthly, or day pass based on their transit usage. So the impact won't be as large as it would be in a Chicago and New York and LA, where my income level is just that the decision's being made for me. So it should be.
And cash is being held in
There
reserve.
will be some lost
There will be
revenue,
some.
minimal, but those who buy a day pass and wind up using half, they're still charged the full.
Yes.
Well, and our goal really is to protect the riders'
Yes.
expense, which this does.
Yes.
And so, you know, as that shakes out, it may affect David's budgeting.
And like an unused gift card, over time, we may see that, again, because I know our riders, I don't think this will happen that often, but we may see folks that still have $3 or $5 on their e-purse
Right.
and
Never
move to
gets
Tampa
used, yeah.
and never gets used.
Right.
True.
Secretary of State gets for $3.
Any additional comments or questions?
Unclaimed.
Okay.
Yes, sir, Mr. Rick.
Yep, thank you. Next item, so another fare system update we made is right now, we have had the smart card system, it has been installed in the paratransit vehicles, but we did not transition to paper coupons. So Citrus Connection still mails out paper PT Connect coupons to riders that are $2. So they're still doing that administrative paper shuffling process. We have now upgraded the system to be able to make the smart card now be compatible with the PT Connect. So this will get rid of those administrative costs associated with the paper shuffle and now makes that system. So now if I'm also a rider that's comfortable using QuickStrap with the card, I can also now do that on the paratransit vehicle. So again, another nice addition to the system. Next one, SMS texting and subscription alerts. This is a very exciting one. And again, Mr. Neely was one who gave us some great input here. So the new feature will now allow riders to get a real-time next bus information at any stop location just by texting. So part of the initiative to put new stop signs out there as part of the reroute, we're also now going to put information on the sign that lets riders know if you're standing at this stop, they can simply send a text message with that stop ID to a short code that Avail provides. And then within seconds, they will get a text message back letting them know which bus is coming, which buses are coming through there, and when that next bus is coming down to the minute. So that is going to be a great feature for riders. They will not even have to use the app.
That's even better than what we see in some of the major cities. Goodness. Yes, sir.
Should that also be a QR code link?
So what we're finding is actually QR codes are very popular for a little while. You guys actually use QR codes. We're finding this is really the state of the art where transit across the country is going. So you go into a major city, it is the SMS texting. We're doing that here in Lake.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the rider get charged for the SMS for those
We handle
texts?
all those fees. So
Oh,
one of
you
the
do?
nice things is we get to spread those costs nationally because we provide you with so we kind of distribute those costs. We cover those fees as part of our current contract.
And the 321123, Commissioner McCarley, is our live nationally recognized number.
Okay.
So that will be the number that they text the individual bus stop to.
Well, I must say, many of us, I'm sure, travel outside of our Greater Lake and Polk County area. And I'm on mass transit. That's the route. That's where I get around. This is I like this, I think.
Yeah.
Because I don't see that in a lot of our major cities.
Yeah, and again, this is live. We can get on my phone. I'll be able to show you and demonstrate. You can do this live right now. The other thing that's really neat is for regular riders, we've also updated the website. So when people go to CC Bus Info, one of the things they can do is if they just type in their email address and they register on the site, it's free. One of the things that now opens up options for them is to say they want to subscribe to get alerts and text messages. So one of the features in our system that Citrus Connection uses is they send out detour alerts, service information, they post it on the website, and it's also live in the app. Now what you'll be able to do as a user is say, you know what, I'll put my phone number in here and I want to subscribe either to all messages or specific routes. The second they push out a message, that rider will get a text message. So again, very good for frequent riders.
Yes, sir.
For clarity purposes, though, someone who pays for data and
Yeah.
texting is going to get an incident of cost
Yeah.
with respect to this. So
Yes, and
Yeah.
I just, 321-123, I just texted what was on the screen, CC 833, and it told me the next time of the bus, and Mr. Mayor says message and data rates may apply.
Mhm.
yeah, very good.
Oh, yeah, well, that's,
I know.
That's a good point.
any other questions? Mr. Lindsay?
Some of the
Commissioner?
wizards that keep this going.
Hmm?
You're the wizard.
I give credit to this guy here, and actually, and again, this is great because, in all joking, I mean, Citrus Connection has a great staff that, again, avails behind the scenes, but they have a great staff that helps keep this stuff going. We provide the ingredients, but these guys are the ones that are definitely cooking on a daily basis.
If there were a law enforcement incident or a weather incident, can you send out alert to all subscribers?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, you can do that. Great point.
So we could link.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And the exciting one for last, and this is where we do to, the mobile payment app with remote reloading. So this is very exciting. So you can get this in going. We now have, ready to go live, a new mobile payment app for I'll go back to the video, the slide, sorry about that. Yep, so it will allow Citrus riders to purchase and remotely reload tickets and passes via a Citrus Connection branded smartphone app. So this will be an app that's available in the iOS, Apple Store.
Mhm.
This will be an app that's going to be in the Google Play Store. If someone searches for Citrus Connection, this app is going to come up. It's going to be available and linked for download off of their website. And when this app is available, it's not in the store right now. We're pending the going through this meeting. But we'll be able to demonstrate that all their fare structures are put into this app, and someone can buy any fare, show it to the driver. It's secure. They can use it to ride the bus. And what's also great is if they want to purchase anything else, they can literally just go online via the app, purchase things with their credit card, their debit card, and it's automatically updated. So this is going to be, again, another very exciting feature here. And again, this is ready to go live. And again, I don't know how you want to handle demonstrations here, but we can demonstrate this app and all the functionality.
I'd change my opinion on that if you'd like to take
Well,
them out for a couple minutes.
This particular app, he can,
I can show right here.
I'm 42 years old, I don't know what you call it, air stream it, play it right to the screen.
Now bring it up.
So,
Air-
but I think
I think so there on the screen, yeah.
I think that given that I'm embarrassing myself. This is the meat and potatoes of what has been the issue for the last few years. So Commissioner Hall, I think specifically you may want to see this actually work.
He's about air, yeah.
I
thought that was a travel
I thought that was a travel trailer. They opened a new one on I-4.
right?
He thought, no, actually, it was actually vehicle.
Crystal, you're